Saturday, December 15th, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 2018. Guys, I remember back years ago when we were anxiously awaiting the arrival of the first pictures from the Solar Dynamics Observatory. This was back in 2009. I have that linked here at the website under the Sun tab. And this is the spacecraft that orbits the Sun with the Earth. Gives us a unique perspective, in fact, many unique perspectives of the Sun. Fantastic instrument. This was put in orbit in 2009. We've been monitoring the Sun with that and a combination of the SOHO LASCO C2 and 3 instrument that has been in orbit around the Sun with the Earth since 1998. Reviewed tons and tons of footage from the SOHO and LASCO C2 and 3. Now, for the first time, the Parker Solar Probe has returned an image from 16 million miles away from the Sun. As I mentioned earlier, the SDO and the LASCO instruments are 93 million miles from the Sun. They orbit the Sun with the Earth. This is a different instrument. It orbits the Sun, and it's getting closer. We're going to take a look at the first photograph returned here in just a minute. But first, the article put out by Parker Solar Probe on December 13th, 2018. Preparing for discovery with NASA's Parker Solar Probe. Weeks after Parker Solar Probe made its closest approach ever to a star, the data from the first solar encounter is just making its way to planet Earth. It's a moment many in the field have been anticipating for years. I know exactly what they're talking about. Thinking about what they'll do with such never-before-seen data, which has the potential to shed new light on the physics of our star, the Sun. And this is a look at that very first image. See Mercury here, which is the brightest object in this photograph, this image. I don't know what these dark things are. They're saying down here below, and we're going to take a look at the high-res image here in just a minute. But it says this image from PSP, Parker Solar Probe, instrument shows a coronal streamer. That's this right here, and we see those all the time, even over here on the LASCO C2 instrument. That's a streamer there, but 93 million miles away. Right now we're up really close and going in closer. Goes on to say about the streamer, it's seen over the east limb of the Sun, and coronal streamers are structures of solar material within the Sun's atmosphere, the corona, that usually overlie regions of increased solar activity. That's true. The fine structure of the streamer is very clear, with at least two rays visible, right there and right there. Parker Solar Probe was about 16.9 million miles from the Sun's surface when this image was taken. The bright object near the center of the image is Mercury, and the dark spots are a result of background correction. So basically, they're saying that these dark spots are artifacts of some sort. We're going to take a close look as we can go into a high-res look at this image, one of the first images ever returned from this historic, it's actually an unprecedented event, and here it is. And if we look even closer, these things have a common personality. There's a dark dot in the middle and a thin line around that dot, and they all look kind of the same. This one's a little different, in pretty much a straight line going down to Mercury, which, looking at this, that looks like something transiting across Mercury's surface, which would indicate typically that that's a moon. But in this case, however, I'm assuming that that's a digital artifact, as we're taught that Mercury has no moon. So unless something new has changed, that is probably not a moon, even though it looks like one. And then there's some more of these digital artifacts here, here, and these are the ones that I just showed you earlier, and then there's some more up here at the top. So don't know what those things are, don't know anything about this spacecraft, as this is the first image returned to Earth. We are kind of familiar with some of the artifacts we see from time to time on the SOHO instrument, like you're going to see something moving across the bottom. That's a star. And here's another look at SOHO. That's a streamer. You see little things, those are ions. All kinds of activity going on, but we're familiar with this instrument as we've been using it for over 10 years. But one thing I noticed in this photograph was something up here at the top, and it could be just a semi-invisible labeling technique that they've used, and it looks like an A at the top of this image. Let me zoom back out, and it's not really super noticeable, but it's right up here. In fact, it's right there. But what I did was enhance the photo a little bit. I ran it through some different filters to try and pull that forward a little bit. This is a little video I put together, and it looks like an A up here at the top. That's in negative format, just looking at the streamer, Mercury, the different anomalies. There's the A. And that could be something that's just stamped on the image, or it could be something else. I don't know. There's Mercury up close. Looks like a moon transiting across the disk. Pretty sure it's just a glitch. Here's another look in a blue format. I think this is sci-fi. This is a heat wave image where it enhances the light. And there you can see that A up there at the top. Let me stop it real quick. See the lines up here? I'm going to show you a comparison where I've put outlines around these lines that form what looks like a symmetrical structure. More than likely, it's just a labeling anomaly that probably wasn't supposed to be seen. But anyway, with all the triangles that we've been seeing in images from Earth in the proximity of the sun, it didn't surprise me. So that's a little video I put together of different views of this historic image right here. So here are some of the angles I looked at. I took and outlined that what looks like an A at the top of this picture. There's the outline. Here's without the outline. I know it's tough to see, but it's right there. See it? Let me get a little closer. See what looks like an A? Now I'm going to show you a comparison. There's the outline, and there's by itself. Pretty easy to see. And again, it could be just another artifact of labeling this particular photograph, photograph A, because there's clearly an A right there. Or it's something else. I have no idea. But nevertheless, that's the first image returned to Earth from the Parker Solar Probe, 16 million miles basically from the surface of the sun. And what makes this instrument unique is it's orbiting the sun. Yes, we have SOHO and we have the SDO instruments in space that are monitoring the sun on a daily basis. This one's been up since 2009, but they do not orbit the sun. And that's something that's different about this Parker probe. It's going all in. It's going right towards the star. So this is unprecedented and it's uncharted territory. So I'm looking forward to the images and data that will come back from this instrument. It's supposed to get within, I think, 5 million miles of the surface of the sun and get some really incredible images. And I can't wait to see those, much like 2009, highly anticipated, the first data to return from the Solar Dynamics Observatory, and it did not disappoint. You can see all of the different wavelengths and all kinds of great data. This is a wonderful, wonderful website. If you want to study and learn about the sun, coronal holes, I did a lot of studying here on coronal holes. In fact, let's just click on this one right here, and you can see the darker areas are coronal holes. Now they're more positioned at the polar regions. Sometimes they will go through the equatorial regions. And those, that energy from the coronal holes, the high-speed wind that's unchallenged by the solar atmosphere, because you can see there's no atmosphere above the coronal hole. So the energy from the surface of the sun departs unchallenged. So that energy does affect the Earth when it comes in contact with the Earth slightly differently than random solar energy that's filtered by the solar atmosphere. So it's a great way to learn. If you want to learn about the sun, it is an excellent, excellent website. All right, guys, that's all I got for now. Thanks for watching. Have a super day, and be safe out there.